Okay, we are live. Look at that seamless transition.
Was that what you're calling it?
Hey, I hit that button right on one.
What's going on out there, you big tasty world travelers? This is Fred Nicholas. I am coming to you live on what is International Hole in My Bucket Day. Do I know what that means? Hell no, I don't know what that means. But somehow it popped up in my social media feed. Every day is International Something Day. Is it not anymore? Not what we'll talk about today. In fact, like all other episodes, I have no clue. So here's your host. Take it away, Big Sexy.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever this is hitting your ear holes, I hope that it is good. Did you say it was annual hole in your butt day?
International Hole in Your Bucket Day.
Oh, bucket. Okay, I heard International Hole in Your Butt Day.
Oh, that would
I'm
be
all-
probably different.
Yeah. I mean, a day to celebrate your butthole. That's a whole different thing. That's something. I can imagine the costume and the cosplays for that type of parade down the street. It would do very good for us being a Torremolinos with the good old fashioned bull with the butthole. Be able to celebrate that. Anyhow, what's happening, Judge? What's going on?
Man, I'm just still kind of recovering from my trip, getting things back to normal, yet at the same time remembering that not only do I have this crazy ass law practice to run, but I also have a schedule that is chock full of shows for most of my available time between now and November, which is kind of crazy and wild.
That's insane, but that's cool. I mean, a full calendar is a happy calendar.
Yeah.
Make sure to take some time for yourself and be sure to find some time to just hang out and relax and chill.
Well, there's definitely some time built in there. It's not like I have shows all day every day. It's certainly not something that I am in a position, mainly because of the law practice, to start doing full time. It's funny because I was chatting the other day with our friend Brogan about how do I tiptoe around this without saying things that I probably shouldn't even know. But we mutually know of an entertainment agent who it appears has started booking for some new talent.
Okay.
And somehow it came up. I think I just jokingly was like, oh, well, if they need a hypnotist on the roster, give them my info. And Brogan was like, well, reach out. And I'm like, no. This is a we're talking about a real agent. And it's not to say that I don't have the chops to start booking at that level. What I don't have is the ability to do it full time.
Right.
If I had the time to do it full time, then I would solicit the help of an agent. But the way that a lot of that works is that they're out there working to try to line up not only gigs but runs of gigs and everything for you, and you're being, basically it kind of is like, hey, how does June 30th at such and such a location at this fee sound? And eventually, like, I would imagine when that relationship is ongoing, they're you just do it. What your clients what your clients are going to do, what they're looking to do, and because it's full time, it's more upon the performer to say, hey, look, I'm taking some time to myself in this area, don't book me.
Right.
I can't commit.
Because I know that at some point in time, an agent does definitely go, okay, you're booked here, 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 and here.
Right.
You're going to get this, and this is how much they're paying you, because they know your pay scale, they know what you're looking for, they generally know your calendar or close to it. But I have a feeling you'd be saying, no, I can't do that a lot more than, another performer who has a wide open calendar.
Yeah. And,
that makes sense.
I'm building toward that as an eventuality, but it's still several years away. There's still way too much going on here.
You got time
with the law practice. So, I'm taking as many gigs and opportunities as I'm capable of within those constraints. And I'm trying to do stuff like end of July, early August, I'll be in Oregon, which I think I've talked about for a week.
Okay, you mentioned that.
Doing a bunch of shows at a county fair. And as always, for anybody who somehow doesn't know, all of my stuff gets put up onto either Between Two Minds or judgmentalist.com, usually both. We've started doing it that way just to make it simple and easy. In fact, if you go to Between Two Minds and it's something that just I am doing, it's going to have some sort of denotation. And if it's a solo show from my stage partner, it's going to have a different denotation. And then they also double up onto judgmentalist.com. Shout out to Scoop Neon Black. I don't even know if he listens to this podcast, but
if he doesn't, he needs to.
Yeah, he is he's the power behind all of that website stuff. So I get a lot of times you will even see when I know that I have gigs coming, I'll shoot him the general info, date, time, location. He'll put it up on the website. And then later I'll send him the ticket link, because a lot of times we get things solidified.
Right.
And the links aren't quite available. Like, for example, I can tell you exactly when and where my 5 shows in Rochester are in September, but you won't have the ability to purchase tickets for any of those shows until July 16th. I at least now know what date is.
Right. Given the date of when you can actually get those tickets is helpful.
Right. And I'm not supposed to formally announce that I've got a show on Wednesday the 11th and 2 of them on Saturday the 14th and 2 of them on Sunday the 15th. So I won't.
Yeah, so don't do that. Don't make that announcement.
But I also can't make that announcement officially because I don't remember exactly which time those 5 shows are. But there's going to be a little bit of time off in that, because my stage partner Bernardo, who is also doing shows at the Rochester, New York Fringe, I still don't know exactly what his dates and times are, but I do know that some of them he's working a different venue. So he's working I want to say that the Rochester Fringe has something like 20 different venues. I can't wait. It is going to be an amazing experience. It's going to be an amazing opportunity. It's a real huge thing, and I'm super excited about it. I'm super looking forward to it. I don't know if I mentioned this on here before, but we lined up an Airbnb.
Nope, you have not talked about this.
Well, I haven't talked about the Airbnb that we lined up.
You have not.
Okay.
I don't recall you mentioning anything about an Airbnb. Listeners, if I'm wrong, enjoy the retelling.
Yeah, enjoy the retelling if Big Sexy is wrong. I love this. Okay. So I'm hopping around. I'm looking at Airbnbs for the date range and everything like that. And I'm trying to be in downtown Rochester because that's where all of this stuff is happening.
Makes sense.
And
close to the action, as it were.
Close to the action. And I get a couple of them, and I'm starting to send screenshots over to Bernardo, and they all look pretty decent, and I'm like, you know what? This one looks right. Something felt right about one of them to me. I don't remember what it was because this was almost a month ago that I set this up, right? And the weird thing about Airbnb sometimes, and maybe it's just because I've only booked like 2 or 3 things on Airbnb ever. And I think that you and Beer in a Backpack mentioned something about when you get to a certain level, there's a little more give and take, and maybe you get more information. But
Right.
these did not give specific street addresses.
They never do. Actually, no
Nope.
matter what level you are on Airbnb, it never gives you an exact street and address until you actually book it. They
So,
do occasionally give you the neighborhood
okay.
and then photos of the property. And if you want to be a sleuth, we did this in Romania. My wife is amazing at this. We sleuthed out different Airbnbs where they were located and what the neighborhood in and where the actual unit was based on photos of the outside of the unit and the general area where it was. It was a lot of fun actually going sleuthing and looking and trying to, do the compare the photos and try to put your phone up and see if the photo matches the building you're looking at. That was a lot of fun.
My daughter's got that creep level. It's
Yeah,
a skill. I don't
it
say that
is.
in a negative way. So I get enough from one of them to be like, this is the one. And
Nice.
as I'm booking it, and I don't remember the order of operations exactly in this, but Bernardo was asking me, you see, Bernardo actually has to load shit in for his show.
He has stuff.
He has stuff. I have me and a pack of cocktail napkins and sometimes my own microphone.
And
That's it.
usually you're at a place where you don't even need to bring the cocktail napkins.
Correct. I try to get that handled for me ahead of time, but I always have some as a backup.
Just in case.
He was asking me, he's like, do you know anything about the parking situation at my venue? And I'm like, no, but I'm sure we'll be fine. I'm not super worried about it, right? So I booked this thing, and then of course it tells you what the address is. And I'm like, man, that address looks super familiar. And it's like a 5-minute walk from my venue or something like that. I shoot him a
Okay.
text. I'm like, bro, what's the address for your venue? And he spits it back to me. Our Airbnb is on the second fucking floor of his venue.
That's insane. And that's pretty awesome.
And I'm like, I think you got your parking situation handled.
I think you're covered.
Yeah.
If you can get your stuff into the Airbnb, you can get it into the venue and vice versa.
Right. You could fall from down the stairs to where you'll be working. So that's freaking awesome. I do think that so my original plan is probably going to get snafu'd, and that plan being to try to coordinate a night that we both have off during that run and then go do a fundraising show for some organization up there, because I'm pretty sure that the 2 nights, the Thursday and Friday that I have off, he has shows. Right. So it is what it is, because there is also an added level of, hey, just take it easy for a day or two, which is something I
relax.
really do.
Nice. Have you been to Rochester before?
Oh, I went to undergrad there. So,
okay. So then,
we haven't talked about this at all then, have we? I must have just mentioned that we were doing it and breezed past it. Because I know that the last time that time frame wise that we would have talked about this, I probably didn't even know what the official July 16th release date for everything is. So that's going to be, they make a big to-do out of it. It's really kind of a big thing to them up there. I don't know how long they've been doing it, but everything looks, incredibly, like their back-end system, super professional, super, like it's for any performers that are, and I know that we have listeners that fall into this category, because some of you I've already convinced to apply.
I was going to say, do they have more than 7 this time around?
Oh, we are up. I think that one's up to about 11, maybe 12. And so it is, I actually got curious. So I went back and found the program and an article about last year's Fringe Festival in Baltimore to find out how many acts they had booked. They are still not to the number of acts that they booked for last year's. So and last year was like the first year that they had done it after a 3-year hiatus, so because of COVID. But
Right.
the Rochester system, for anybody who is interested in doing this, because all of these fringe festivals, there is no uniformity from city to city. The concept and the idea seems to match. You know, they want the same kinds of things and they're interested in the same kinds of things, but some
I
of
want
the
fringe stuff. That's about it. Yeah.
like some of these cities, you literally have to go and reach out and find a venue that's interested in hosting your show during that time frame. And then you've got to register and do this other stuff. The way that Rochester has it or had it, because it's obviously too late for this for anybody for now, but next year, if you're
Mhm.
interested in it, and of course I'll recap it. We'll probably, because I've got an off day on Thursday, which is when we normally record these, we'll
We'll
probably
do a
go
live from there.
yeah, which will be, you know, the day after my first show. There's really no reason not to.
And that's in September?
That is September, yes.
All right. We'll either be in the US or back in Spain.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know that
Or
you
Mexico.
I know that you are anti-cold weather, but maybe you should pop up to Rochester for a couple of days.
Yeah, you know, if possible, if I can make,
It won't be cold by then.
if we're in a place where I can swing it, that we can make a trip up to Rochester, that'd be amazing. That'd be awesome.
Do it
I'll
by
put
train.
it in the zeitgeist. I'll throw it on my vision board.
Yeah, do it by train. I have no idea if that logistically makes any sort of sense, but like the other day I was realizing that like people travel by train, and I don't mean commuter day by day, but like I mean people make a big deal out of being like, hey, I'm gonna go wherever, and I can get there by train and sit in this train and just see the entire countryside on my way there.
Yeah, that's expensive and long.
Is it? I've never
Yeah.
actually looked into it. So
When I was younger, and it was expensive when I was younger. When I was younger, me and my mom took a train from California to New York, going through Chicago, and you know we took the Amtrak. It was like 3 days train ride. You know, several different stops at certain locations. It's really cool seeing all the countryside, met some interesting people. But it very much felt like a transatlantic cruise without any entertainment.
yeah.
You're literally just sitting in a car. You gotta be your own entertainment, and that's for like 3 or 4 days. It takes a long time. And I used to think about, oh, maybe I'll just take a train. There, and the train used to be affordable. It is not anymore.
No? Okay.
No,
I haven't
that has gone the way of the dodo. And I really don't trust the United States railway system anymore. Anyway.
Why is that?
Oh, I don't know. 1 or 2 derailments will kind of
Oh, yeah,
derail you from desiring to hop on a train.
I guess that would be enough to do it. Yeah.
That'll do it. Yeah, it'll make you think twice about it at least.
So the Rochester Fringe setup, they've got one website interface that they use. I think it's called Backstage, and it you log in, you create an account, and then you upload all of the information for your application, all of your media stuff, description, any videos that you might have, all of the stuff, right? So you do the application one time, and then on the very next page in this interface is here are all of the venues that we work with.
Oh, that's
And
beautiful.
it
That's
gives you
nice.
photos. You can click in and find, hey, this is how big the venue is. This is what accommodations it has, or what, you know, do they have lights? Do they have sound? Is it an elevated stage? Is it, you know, dinner style seating? All of those different things. Is it open floor?
Sound like somebody in Rochester did the homework.
Yeah. So, and then what you do is it's super, even down to these are the types of performances that usually book here. Like all of
Oh,
this.
they
is
really
there.
did the homework.
And,
Wow, okay.
and then the process is literally as simple as a button by each and every one of them that says apply to this venue. So you click in, You take a look at it. This one will work for me. This one won't work for me. You click back out, and you either click apply to this venue, and then your info gets in their little hopper of ones to consider. And then the way that it works is you can only perform at one venue during the Fringe Festival.
So so not allowing performers to venue hop.
Correct.
No
So-
hopping around town, you little hussy.
There's a period of time in which venues make offers to artists, and you either find one that you like, or you sit and wait for a better one to come along, or you negotiate back and forth or whatever. And then you say, hey, I'm going with this venue on these dates and these times at this price. And this is, full disclosure of, hey, we want the first, $500 and the rest is for you, or we're doing 50-50 of the door split, or 60-40 or whatever.
Right.
And all of those terms either are agreeable or they're not agreeable. You click, basically you sign the contract off with them. Then there's another period that just happened where you're uploading and giving different stuff media wise, specifically for the printed catalog that they're going to go out, because they've been doing this, I'm assuming, for quite some time. This is an operation. Like, I'm super impressed with what I see. Like, they will do a full color, like 40 or 50 page insert in the city paper and some other publications, and basically there's no excuse for anybody being in Rochester, New York, to not know that this shit's happening during the time that it is.
They all know. They definitely
and
know.
I'm only saying this here because he posted about it on his social media. I don't know dates and times yet. I don't know the location yet, but I'm assuming it's going to be a venue larger than mine. But one of the performers who will be performing at the Rochester Fringe Fest is none other than acclaimed mind reader Banachek.
Really?
Yes. Banachek is doing, I don't know how many shows. Maybe he's just doing a show. Maybe he's doing a run. I'm not sure. I found out that he was doing this like a day or two before I left for Egypt. So I intended to reach out to him and say, hey, good to see you're there, whatever. But I really didn't get around to it before, it got too close to the point where I'm like, I don't want to reach out to him and then have 2 days go by. I didn't know what, and then have him get back in touch with me and then it'd be ghost town because I didn't know what my connectivity situation was going to be going overseas. So I guess now is the time for me to reach out to him now that I'm back and there are no
now that you're back.
excuses.
Yeah. Definitely reach out. Put that on your to-do list.
Yes, for sure. So yeah, I'm super excited and looking forward to that. And I'm not gonna, as of right now, it doesn't look like we're gonna jam in any additional shows. I might try to do like a high school assembly show or something, kind of pull one of those. Hey, I'm in town during this time frame. I normally charge X for this show. If you are interested on one of these 2 days, you can get me for whatever discounted price. You
better book that soon. I mean, I know it's September, but that's like the beginning of the school year.
Yeah.
Generally.
I don't know if it's happening or not. I'm not super worried about it. Part of me with what my current schedule is between the Michigan Hypnosis Conference and that. So it's that. Then the Michigan Hypnosis Conference is the next weekend. That'll run right into the Charm City Fringe Festival, which will bridge 2 weekends in September and October. And
the Charm City was the one that only had like 7 people, right?
At the time, yeah. Now that I think they're up to like 10 or 11
or 12. Right.
In fact, the deadline for, if you are hearing this in the normal drop spot and you're not hearing us do this live, it's too late for Charm City Fringe. If you are hearing us live, then tomorrow is their deadline.
Right. You got till tomorrow.
I'm actually going to take a look. Let's see. Folders shared with me. Application materials. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It is 12.
Cool.
So hopefully we see Scoop Jesus there because I
Yeah.
see he's applied to it. I guess I probably, oh God, where is he right now? He's probably in Utah. I was going to say, I reached out to Matt.
He's either Utah, Vegas, or California, one of the three.
Yeah, I reached out to Matt and he was interested in applying. And it was the same kind of thing where I put the call to action out here, but I reached out to him specifically. He seemed to be interested in it, but he's got so much stuff going on that
he's using an agent and booking a lot. So yeah, and he might be on the boat.
No boat yet. Oh, you mean during Rochester?
Yeah. Or doing either one.
Yeah, he's actually gonna be in Pennsylvania and Maryland in June. Back when he and I did the tour, was that last summer? Yeah, last summer. He did Smoke and Mirrors in Philly. So he's going back there. That's June 22nd, I want to say. Yeah. And then another one of the spots that he and I did a show at, Cult Classic Brewing, and then Bernardo and I ended up doing a show, also the Between Two Minds show at Cult Classic Brewing. Kick-ass venue. If there's still tickets for that, that's June 27th. I also have a show on that day, so I would tell you to go to my show first, but if you are closer to and somehow haven't seen the Mind Noodler, definitely go see his show at Cult Classic Brewing, because I love that venue.
Right.
Really cool setup.
And though we don't really, he's not paying us to promote, you go to mindnoodler.com, you'll see all his show dates and whatnot. You're welcome.
Yeah, man. I'm going to check real quick to see if that show is sold out, because the last time that when he and I had that show there, those tickets sold out before I even had the ticket link, which was wild.
That is very possible that it sold out.
It specifically was a show that when we had a promo video for Matt and I put together, I emailed it down to them, be like, hey, you might want to use this to promote the show. And the response I got was, hey, thanks for that. Show's already sold out. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 11 tickets left for Matt's show on June 27th. One of the cool things that I like about Cult Classic Brewing, which means absolutely nothing, but I just think it's kitschy and fun, is that you buy seats at tables, and
that's where
the tables are named.
Yeah.
And the seats are named. So like one of the ones where there are
tickets,
you can
buy like a Rat Pack table.
Yeah.
And then the seats will be named each Rat Pack member.
Yeah, there's like table 21 has seats available. That's the Pac-Man table. So somebody's already purchased the Blinky and the Pinky seats, but if you want to sit in Inky or Clyde, those seats are available.
Okay. That's pretty neat. I like that kind of kitschy shit.
The Baxter Building is the only table that doesn't have some seats taken already. You can either sit in Mr. Fantastic, the Human Torch, the Thing,
Storm,
or the Invisible Woman. Yeah.
Are there only 4 seats at each table?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So if you have one of them really big round tables with like 8 seats around it, then you're gonna start nipping at like side characters and to fill that space up.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about that. Yeah. You could either sit at the Hannibal or Murdoch seats if you're an A-Team lover. There's also 3 seats available at the Hogwarts table, and that's it. That's all they got. But it's super cool. There's just none of that plays into anything. They're not labeled that way when you're in the venue. There's no real indication of it, but just being able to go and buy tickets and be like,
they're not labeled that way in the venue. I imagine the table is like
would be
decorated as it's labeled. Like if it's a Harry Potter themed table, give me a Harry Potter tablecloth and make each seat the different houses of Gryffindor. I mean of Hogwarts. If it's the Baxter Building, I want to see a blue table with the big number 4 on it.
Yeah.
And I want each chair to represent who it represents. I want you to have a really hard time finding Sue Storm's chair.
That would be great.
The chair is just not there.
Yeah.
That table only had 3 chairs. No, the 4th one's there. You just can't. It's there. It's the Sue Storm chair is still there. Yeah, that's what I want. If I ever did a venue like that, that's exactly what would happen. Exactly. I had a very interesting day today. I just to do it a very abrupt segue.
Okay.
Today is Thursday. We started doing date days here in Spain, and because the wife has Thursdays off, and I do this, but we get together late now. So last week, I took the wife to the Picasso Museum for Thursday. That was awesome. That was a lot of fun. And this week, my wife took me out to go see the dolphins out in the sea. We didn't see any dolphins, but the boat ride was nice. Lovely weather. It was really great. Then we had lunch at the Indian food. Shout out to Spice Club. It was really delicious. But, went out on the boat, and, they always tell you, we don't promise you're going to see dolphins. We'll take you out there. It's a 2-hour boat ride. Luckily, it wasn't a 3-hour tour because I didn't bring any luggage. We took a 2-hour boat ride, but it was really cool. Like looking back at the coast from the boat, it's like really gorgeous, and it's really humbling to go, oh man, I live there. That beautiful thing right there, that all that I'm seeing right there, I live there. That's my home right now. Absolutely wonderful. And then, like I said, we had lunch at a delicious Indian food. Wonderful. We're right on the marina. And then did a fuck ton of walking. We just been walking a lot. But, it's easier to do here than back in California because there's so many people, there's so many things to see. Yeah, I want to give a special shout out to folks in the Malaga Digital Nomad group. Yep, last night was the Wine Wednesday, and we met more folks.
Nice.
Yeah, we met. I'm not going to try to name them all because I'll forget somebody and then I'll feel bad about it. So if you're hearing this and you were there on the Wednesday, whatever date that was, May 29th, Big Sexy says hello and thank you for being awesome. It's really cool meeting you. We just met. Really cool seeing you. If I knew you before. Boom. There you go. That covers all bases. But really awesome. Nilla came with me, and it's always a treat to have the wife at these kind of events because everybody who listens should know by now. But if you don't know, I'm married to a rainbow, and just like Rainbow, when people see her, their faces light up. They get excited. They're really happy when she's in the room, and so am I. So it's really cool to go to the events and hang out, and get to mingle and network. We ran into a couple that we might end up renting their unit come July. Maybe. I say maybe because we need to meet with them. We're going to meet with them tomorrow and talk about it. And if things are hunky dory and everything works out, then we'll know where we're going to be at in July. Hopefully July till we leave. That's kind of the goal, but we'll see. We're doing the month hopping this time around. We weren't able to do one solid place for one period of time. Which, if you're looking to travel and you're doing the 90 days in, 90 days off, just be prepared for that. Be prepared that unless you have that kind of bankroll, that you may be hopping either from Airbnb or unit to unit, as it were. But it's really cool to network with the people who have the apartment instead of just seeing them online.
Yeah. Well, honestly, the networks that you build and the connections that you make are just going to become more and more valuable as you're existing there and in other places. I mean, the groundswell of information that was sent to me and then the subsequent follow-ups from folks about certain things that we were doing in London, specifically a big shout out to Myra Loomer, who gave us some information, saw that we had done some of the stuff, reached out to find out how it was. Part of it was from her own curiosity. So really cool to have that happen. Like I said, the rendezvous that was going to happen with Sebastian Robbins did not, just because of some timing and some weather, and just he was getting there basically the day before, the last full day that we were there, and that I did not originally realize. So all of the intentions were good for everybody, and we just kind of swung and missed on that one.
I'd also like to give a shout out to Myra, who joined me on my first ever TikTok live.
Ooh.
I went live. I finally got the numbers. I can go live on TikTok. So I went during one of my night walks with a dog, and she hopped on and joined. It was really cool. And then I realized that I think it was TikTok. I've been going live on TikTok, and I'm going live on Instagram. I think it was TikTok.
TikTok is the one that you have to have. I think you can just go live on Instagram.
Yes.
TikTok, you have to have, I think, 1,000 followers to do.
Correct. I think it was TikTok. Myra, let me know. Myra's actually in the live chat on Instagram right now. So Myra, let me know if it was TikTok or Instagram. I don't remember. But that's my memory. But she joined me, and it was really cool to have somebody. I'm pretty sure it was TikTok. But it was cool to have somebody to talk with and whatever. Because eventually, again, I do improv, and I can monologue with the best of them, but it does hit a point where it gets lull and very like quiet. And okay, now what am I gonna talk about? I've already talked about this walk, and then I'm gone a few steps, and they're still the same shit. So do I just say the same shit again? I don't know. I'm running this whole live thing, so y'all bear with me as I'm doing this. But again, I'm trying to give people a taste of what it's like to be out.
Maybe I need to come over there and walk with you, because we're 37 minutes in, and there hasn't really been a lull in this live conversation.
Pretty close, yeah. Agreed. That's what I need. I need somebody else to come and chat, or people to join on the live, whatever. The time difference is a thing. As I think about things, I'm pretty sure I keep sending you messages at like 4 a.m. your time.
Which doesn't matter to me, because all of my stuff is number one, you're not waking me up. Number two, all of my stuff is kind of in like a little privacy setting when I go to bed, so it doesn't alert me anyway.
Right.
My alerts are also wonky, and then recently I've been having some issues and some hiccups with the Facebook Messenger, with it not syncing to my desktop. So like it was just yesterday that I was having a conversation with Scoop Jesus about this idea that I have, and a twist on an idea that I have for an upcoming show. And half the time, like, because it wasn't syncing, my messages that I was sending from my desktop weren't even going through. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And then I would go and try to refresh the screen to see if that maybe would reconnect them. And then the messages that had been sitting there saying that they hadn't sent yet disappeared. So I couldn't even resend them or copy. I had to remember what I typed. It was super frustrating, but not a big deal. But it's like, come on. You're a multi-billion dollar business. Get your shit right. We got people.
Good luck with that. Yeah. We I tell you what was interesting on this show, on the boat today, was their musical playlist. Like, I anticipated, again, nothing but Spanish music on the way out. It's in Benalmádena here in Spain. I'm expecting, nothing but Spanish music on the way out. We got on the boat, it was Spanish music. Then maybe about 20 minutes in, the playlist changed. And it went from like Nancy Sinatra to U2 to the Temptations. There was some Elvis, a couple of modern songs. There was some Taylor Swift. And then as we got back, turning back around and started heading back towards the coast, right back to Spanish music. But it was noticeable. All of a sudden, like, this playlist is what are they playing? This is weird. Like the vibe is. I wanted if I'm on a boat and there's a playlist of music, I want every song to be nautical themed. I want every song to have something to do with water. Or
you just need to get who has it? I think it's Sirius XM has a yacht rock station.
Yes.
Yeah.
So and Spotify. Spotify has yacht rock playlists.
Spotify has like everything. Like I don't even know the way that Spotify exists. I am convinced that if it weren't for Howard Stern, Sirius XM would be done.
Maybe. I say how and live sports. Live sports also keep Sirius XM alive.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And then they have their yes. Look, if Spotify ever streamed directly into somebody's car, if Spotify went satellite radio style.
That's how I get mine.
See, but you get it through your phone, correct?
No.
Oh, you have it direct. There's an app in your car that goes directly to
my car. Having this very, very indirectly is why this podcast exists. It's how we know each other. It's how Elkton Magic exists. It's how I know Matt Donnelly, because I bought my electric car 3 years ago, June. So we're literally at like the 3-year anniversary. And it had Spotify in there, and I was tooling around with it, and I was like, oh, this is so much better. I was already thinking about the fact that this is so much better than Sirius XM. Because, for example, name a song that you'd like to listen to.
She's Always in My Hair by Prince.
Okay, and what you're familiar with the Sirius XM channel
Very
lineup?
Much so.
Okay,
yep.
So what channels would you listen to that on?
I would have to go to. I'd have to wait. They would never play on the 90s.
Okay.
Prince, every now and then they'll have a radio on, and then eventually they'll play that song.
So you kind of got to be like, okay, cool. I'm going to listen to this channel or these channels, and hopefully the song I want to listen to. You literally go Spotify, start typing it in, and then boom. And when and this is for the free version. Now you can only do that so many times with the free version. You can only skip songs so many times with the free version. Okay, that's fine. But this is how
it's worth the premium service, and it's a lot cheaper than Sirius XM.
Yeah, this is how I stumbled onto podcasts, period.
Okay.
So I somehow found some podcasts, and it was actually a magic-related podcast. And I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of interesting. And then somehow I'm driving somewhere and a light bulb went off. I'm like, you know what? I think Penn from Penn and Teller has a podcast.
He does.
I remember hearing right. This is me narrating my thought process 3 years ago. I was like, I think Penn's got this podcast. Let me find it. So I find it. I start listening to it. It is what it is. And it was around the time. So actually, Elkton Magic was going to exist pre-pandemic. Then the world went to shit and everything was halted. So it was around this time that I'm listening to all of this stuff, and it's getting time for, capacity's back to 100%. We can be normal-ish now. Okay, fine. It's time to book something. And, putting the pieces together of this guy that works with Penn Jillette, who's originally from New Jersey. I find him on Twitter because it was still Twitter at the time.
Right.
And this Sweet Matty D guy.
Sweet Matty D.
And Elkton Magic tags him in a post saying, hey, You've got ties to the East Coast. We're getting ready to start this thing back up. Do you know any magicians out this way that might be interested in kicking us off? And his response was something to the course of, to the equivalence of, I do. In fact, that magician might be me. And I'm like, okay, let's talk. So we had a conversation, and the whole rabbit hole, like this is like my obelisk story, I guess, from the parent podcast. And again, all of that starts the domino effect that is this podcast. That I was, all I wanted, I was trolling on him. All right. The guy who runs the Showcase on Main Theater, the community theater that was the original home of Elkton Magic, is the general manager at a microbrewery a couple streets or a couple storefronts down the street from the theater. And my whole thing, especially for this being our first show, but really it's kind of the capacity and the mindset that I take on all of these shows, is that we have 3 audiences each and every time we put on one of these shows. Obviously, the people who have bought tickets, who are sitting in the seats, the venue that we're working out of, because we don't have our own actual letter or location, and then the performer themselves. So I know that it's a small community. Obviously, I'm part of it. I want anybody who's asking anybody that's ever performed here before to get, a 5-star review from us. And, I don't want another performer to be the reason that somebody would decide not to come to Elkton Magic. And we haven't had that issue. So I've somehow lost your audio. So I can't hear Big Sexy, so I'm just going to keep talking. I'm assuming he can hear me because he hasn't alerted any sort of issue, and I'm getting a thumbs up here. But I wanted to get the brewery to brew a beer named for Matt, and it actually ended up being called the Mind Noodler. But then, like midway through that process, I was like, wait a minute. I think I'm hearing something now.
Am I back?
Yep, you're back. I'm like, wait, Penn doesn't drink. Maybe Matt doesn't drink. I need to do more research. And within the annals of Penn Sunday School, I couldn't find what I needed to confirm that I wasn't going to offend Matt, because I didn't know him at the time. That was when I met him and started to get to know him and everything. So I was like, well, he's got this other podcast that he's mentioned. Let me listen to it. That other podcast being Ice Cream Social. And boy, oh boy, did I get sucked into that world.
And here we are.
Fast forward to almost 2 years of us doing this. Jeez.
Yeah. It'll be 2 years in October.
Yeah.
From when we dropped. That's insane. That's crazy. Yeah, this episode it was crazy. This is episode 89, which is one of my favorite numbers, one of my favorite years of all time. Yeah, we're really excited to still be doing this, and it's been pretty awesome. Speaking of which, so listeners, I do have some ideas and plans coming up in the future. What I'm looking to do is providing a bit more education on the digital nomading part.
Okay, cool.
So I'm currently doing research now, like what is the normal procedure, and I'm looking at highlighting what the regular procedure is, what different Google things and whatever says the procedure go to be a digital nomad is, and then what has been my experience going forward. Watch a few videos as people talk about different aspects of it, and I want to start kind of reporting on that. We recently had to get SIM cards and do eSIMs, and that was a whole thing. So I want to tell about that entire process. And
yeah, please do, because I didn't get mine to work right.
It was a thing
on the air before going to Egypt. I definitely screwed something up in the settings and found out that for me, for a short period of time, not something that would work in the digital nomad setting, but for me in a short period of time, my phone carrier is AT&T, and they have a thing where when they know that you're international, it's like, hey, you can use your calls and your texts and your data and everything absolutely unlimited. We're just going to tag you like $10 a day to do it. And if you don't use it, then not. So
yeah, we found out that we got over here and we adjusted the plan. When we first came over, we got international on our phone. We had T-Mobile, but then we went back to the U.S. and like we don't need that bill, so we changed it. And then we said, well, let's look at other options coming back out. And it was a hassle. Like we had to get our phones unlocked. I couldn't get mine unlocked. We had to get some eSIMs. They kind of work, don't work. What I plan to do is go into that and really in depth in these educational pieces. What I'm trying to think about is how to put those together, what those look like what's that format look? Am I going to do a presentation on the podcast, or do I talk, like, figure that out. I'm also going to start interviewing. I've tried to put the call out for digital nomads who've been digital nomading for over 5 years, to get their advice and expertise and hear about what they do and how they go about being a digital nomad, and start that type of informative educational aspect of Big Sexy Digital Nomad. We'll still have fun. We'll still talk about random shit. We'll still, be about the daily what to do's and where to goes and whatever is happening here regular on the program. But on some of those bonus episodes, if I'm in between interviews, I'll throw in an educational podcast.
Well, that's good to know that we're still going to have fun here, because I won't be the only one, if we don't, that's crossing my arms and curling my lip.
Exactly. I won't make this whole thing school. No. But I'm actually just responding to feedback. People have been saying, "Oh, really nice to know this, but really nice to know that." And a lot of that
because that's what we want.
Yeah.
Obviously, we jam and shenanigans once a week and blow off steam here, but this is for you.
Yeah, and also, I also mentioned that I'm almost a passenger in this. I understand what's going on a lot, but really, I've married a phenomenal woman who really is taking the reins on a lot of this stuff, and so I'm also intrigued and learning. So I'm going to learn right along with y'all. That's kind of part of what I want to do, the interview stuff, and learn and get information out there. And I'm also giving information as well. So that's coming up. I'm probably going to kind of kick that stuff off after we reach episode 100, because it's going to take some time to build that infrastructure and get that thing ready and planned and sorted. And I want to get some episodes recorded and ready to go. Kind of like before we started this program, we got some episodes recorded and whatever. But I want to get that ball rolling, get those interviews out of the wire. I want to edit them and get them put together. So be on the lookout for that. Y'all hang with us. Stay on the ride and enjoy.
My wife sent me this meme before we went on our little journey about being a travel princess. It's kind of like being a pillow princess, except for travel. Like, the flight's booked, but the boarding passes, he's got them. I don't know where we're staying, but I know that it's covered. I don't know when we're leaving or where we're going or any of this other stuff. Basically, I'm just locked in and along for the ride.
That's it. Big Sexy Travel Princess. That's me. Absolutely. Awesome. Yeah, well, what you got coming up?
Let's see. It is June, so by the time you hear this, you will still potentially be able to get tickets to the Night Fight event. Knight, like with a K, like metal armor and metal weapons.
Okay.
That is June 8th in Perryville, Maryland, and I am doing Hypnosis as the intermission entertainment for that. Nice.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And it's apparently they sell these shows out, and I'm looking to expose myself. I'm looking to expose my talents to more people.
Sure, that's what you meant. Mm-hmm.
We're going with that. Yeah. I will be wearing pants the whole time. zip her up. And June 27th, which again is a conflicting date with Matt's show, but they're like 2 hours apart, so you can't go to them both. That is a fundraiser for one of our fundraiser causes, which is for a gal who is local to our area, who is battling stage 4 cervical cancer. If you're just curious about it, and you go to the ticket link, there's a ton of information on Jen and what she's gone through and her journey and the things that the community's really wrapped up in helping her out, raising funds to get medical treatment that's not covered by health insurance because it's not necessarily the normal traditional stuff. She's kind of exhausted those types of options. That gets us to July. I have one fundraiser show that's in July that hasn't formally been announced yet, and I am emceeing another one of the Night Fight events, and my stage partner Bernardo will be performing the intermission entertainment for that one. That one is on July 13th. Awesome. And then end of July is when I fly out to Oregon to do all of that.
Cool deal.
Another fundraiser show in August, and then we're into that nutty ass September, October run. And I want to say that between the end of September, like whenever the mid-September, between mid-September and mid-November, I'm doing something like 40 shows.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, next week, this coming weekend, I got a friend's birthday party that I'm going to, and then I'm teaching some line dance class. We got mahjong, the usual stuff here in Spain. So stay tuned for all that goodness and stuff. Yeah, well, listeners, thank you very much. As usual, be sure to swing over to bullwiththebutthole.com and join the Patreon. We appreciate it. You can support the podcast. We definitely appreciate it. And also be sure to swing over to, if you have any questions or anything, hit us up. Send us some emails at bigsexynomad@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from y'all. And we appreciate you all individually. Go to our sponsor. Go to cruisehabit.com/BSDN. That's
cruisehabit.com/BSDN.
Join us over there. We appreciate them sponsoring the podcast, supporting the podcast. We show them some love. Go there, check it out. Really great information on cruises, different cruise lines. All right, y'all. And in the meantime, safe travel.